Hi, my name is Danny, and welcome to Monday on Pagan Perspective. Rich asked me to sub in for today, and I'm very grateful because our topic is from Yucca, and it's do you garden, and is it important to your practice? Both of these questions would be a yes for me, and gardening is a huge love and passion of mine. So I'm really excited to share a bit about how Druidry and gardening combine in my life. So I grew up in a rural area. My parents worked in agriculture. I have been very connected with growing things my whole life. When I lived in the city, especially when I was living on my own, that connection to the earth and to growing things was lacking. And as I grew deeper in Druidry and my practice, one of the ways that I reached out and formed a stronger connection with earth was through gardening. I did this by working with some other neighbors and creating a community garden. This garden is called Crowley Station Community Garden. It's a collection of raised garden beds over a concrete platform. And under this platform is actually a city water well. So it's a really cool elemental combination and has been hugely impactful in my life. I've met some of my best friends at this garden. I've taught 100 people how to garden and how to compost, and it's just been amazing. Even though our garden beds are only 2 foot by 8 foot, that ability to grow a few herbs that I use in my magical practice, to grow spinach, which I eat and helps increase my nuefre, which is a Druid term kind of for life force and energy, vitality, nuefre. It's just been a huge, beautiful moment in my life and community. Druids are really tuned in, or at least attempt to be tuned in, to justice and community. Gardening, food access, especially in an urban area, is a really critical point in our culture for providing more justice, access, diversity. So for me to take the things that I am learning and working on developing in Druidry when it comes to justice and really physically bringing it to life in a community garden is an important way for me to actively participate in my Druid practice. Now, I no longer live in the city. I am still working on the leadership on that community garden because I love it so much. But my husband and I actually have 8.8 acres out in the country, and we are working on turning that into a permaculture site. For those of you who don't know what permaculture is, it is a kind of design ethos and practice that works to integrate human life into earth life a little bit better. And it has the ethos of earth care, people care, and fair share. So on our homestead and farm, using permaculture is a way for us to connect to the land, to observe and learn from the land, and to use the patterns that are naturally there to inform our own life and decisions about how we live on that land, what we eat, what we produce on that land. This interacts with my Druidry because I'm currently in a phase of my practice where I'm really trying to tune in to learning herbalism more, learning astrology more, getting in touch with some of those more mystical mysteries and the magical elements of Druidry, and having my own home base where I can grow whatever plants I want to for the most part. I can take a walk under the stars while still feeling safe and protected. I can get up and watch the sunrise if I want. Anytime. There's just so many options available to me with this luxury of owning my own land. So it's allowed me to really deepen that work in Druidry and to kind of learn a lot more. I think permaculture combines in a really wonderful way with paganism. So if you are living a paganism practice that is earth-centered. Not every pagan is, but if you are, I would strongly recommend looking into permaculture. Any book by Chelsea Green Publishing is going to be an excellent resource. There's also a Druids Garden, which is a blog by another Druid who's done loads of work in this area, and I will leave a link in the description because I love her writing and I've learned a lot from it. So I think that's another really excellent resource. I also want to commend all of the urban pagans, witches, druids, magicians who have that one houseplant barely surviving or a couple herbs on their windowsill. I really commend you for gardening in whatever form it takes in your life. And if you're looking to get more involved but you don't have the financial resources or time, do reach out to community gardens in your area. I know our community gardens has a really strong county-wide network, and we offer free seeds at different times during the year. We have a couple different locations, including a greenhouse and a foods co-op, that often will do prorated compost materials for people. I know a million gardeners who, if their neighbor was looking to get started, would offer all of their supplies. So if you're interested in getting started in gardening, but you're like, I don't have a farm, I can't do that, do reach out to your community, because I think there are a lot of free educational resources out there for you. I could talk forever about gardening and different resources and why it's so important to my Druid practice, but I'm going to keep this video at a reasonable length. So if you have more questions, please ask them in the comments below. I would love to answer them, and if you have any favorite stories about connecting to the earth through gardening, please also include those. Your stories are my favorite. Thanks for watching, and as always, may you find peace in the sacred grove.